Hey folks, this is Pastor Jim from Cross Point Church in Bettendorf, Iowa. Many years ago, a buddy of mine was telling me about a mutual friend of ours who had earned a national ranking in an area of athletics. And I thought that was pretty cool, so I asked him, well, what was his national ranking? And he said, well, it was 198th. And I sort of thought to myself, well, that doesn't sound really all that impressive. And so I sort of shrugged and I said, nah, okay, big deal. My friend looked at me and he says, well, are you nationally ranked in anything? You see, I didn't quite understand. I didn't put it together that even though my friend's national ranking was not really all that impressive, just the fact that he's mentioned in a list of national athletes was. We're going to look at 6 characters in the Bible that sort of fit that description. They're 6 minor judges that correspond to 3 of the 6 cycles of rebellion that are characteristic of this period of time in the nation of Israel's history. And there's nothing really remarkable about these 6 judges. In fact, each person just gets a couple of verses and there's nothing really all that remarkable about the story. But they frame up a story within the story of the decline of the nation of Israel. And in fact, when you read about the final few of these judges, it seems as if everyone has just given up, that God has given up, the nation of Israel has given up of ever reconciling this rift between God and his people. But when you step back and you look at the story of Judges through the lens of God's redemptive purposes, you see that God hasn't given up on his people. And in fact, the very fact that these judges are mentioned in this book, in the Bible, in this period of time, shows that God has never given up on his people, and he never will. Jesus said as much when some of his disciples returned from a successful ministry venture, talking about how great the experience was. And Jesus says, don't marvel that your ministry trip was so successful. Marvel that your name is written in the book of life. See, that's what's really important when we look at these stories. It's that God doesn't give up on his people. He never has and he never will. He doesn't give up on his people and he hasn't given up on you. We're going to talk about that more for one service only this Sunday at 10 o'clock. We're also going to celebrate communion together, and afterwards we're all going to enjoy a time of fellowship and food and fun. I hope you can make it this Sunday. I'll see you then. Thanks for listening.